Wanted to jump in today and just share a little bit more information about what makes the Journey Home to Soul program different, different to other programs. So one of the key things about the Journey Home to Soul program that makes it a bit different is that it's a program where participants look at their own journey in detail. We guide and support them, Ross and I, and we take them through experiential processes along the way. But it is actually each participant, each individual, that's looking at themselves and their life throughout the entire journey. So it's a personalised journey. Yes, we do talk about a wide variety of common things in our modules, but every time we do that, the participants are actually looking at their own journey, their own life. So it makes it very personal. And it has to be personal because we're talking about individuals taking their own journey back to their soul. The journey's foundation is different as well in that it's based on 3 key pieces of personal information, and there's some short videos on our website and social pages that give a little bit more detail on these, but they are: who am I? We take the participants through a process to look in depth at who they think they are. We also take them through their personal astrology blueprint based specifically on their date, time and location of birth and how that relates to them. We also take them through a process called a personal timeline. So those 3 things form the foundation of the program, and they're based on the individual participant, and the individual participant uses that information to reflect upon every week through each of the pillars and each of the modules. Again, a deepening layer of personalization because each soul is unique to the individual. The journey builds upon that personal foundation information through what we refer to as the 4 pillars of self: surrendering, evolving, loving and feeling. And each of those 4 pillars is held as its own program within the program, and each of the pillars has 10 weeks per pillar. So it's a 32-week program all up. It's 8 weeks. 8 times 4 is 32. So it's 8 weeks per pillar, 32 weeks in total, and it's spread over a 12-month time frame with breaks in between for integration and time to absorb one pillar before moving on to the next. The journey is also a holistic program. It incorporates quite a wide variety of different methodologies, not all of which I'm going to mention here today, but so it's got written materials to be able to go through in your own time that support each of the modules, each of the weekly modules. It has very practical exercises. Some of them are quite simple, others are a little bit more complex, but again, it's take home practical information that each of the participants can incorporate into their daily life that further enhances and integrates the information and the changes that they're making. There's also a wide variety of hands-on experiential processes which are based on the principles of energy. There's also rapid core healing and family constellations, which is incorporated at different stages throughout the journey. Personal astrology is a really big part of the journey, and again, that's very specific to each individual, and it's a look beyond just a sun sign to actually look deeper at your personal astrology and how that actually influences and impacts you. There's embodiment practices and playlists to use at any time. There's additional deep dive materials for those participants wanting to really dive deep into the program. There's also weekly circles of teaching and connection with all of the participants. And throughout the program, there's shamanic principles and practices weaved in and incorporated, again, to add a deepening layer to the materials being delivered. So it's a bit of an idea. The journey also guides and supports participants for them to identify their areas of growth, releasing, healing, and change. So Ross and I support and guide, but it is actually the participants that find their own answers. We just help them by guiding and leading them towards them. It's a 4-part journey that is different because it doesn't just identify, okay, this is what I need to surrender or want to surrender, but it journeys through how to move from surrendering to then evolving, loving, and feeling. So it's not just well, here you go, here's something to work on. We actually step you through that and the various components to journey back to your soul. The journey also provides wisdom and guidance at each step, practical tools to support the changes, and experiential processes, as I've already mentioned. So shamanic journeys, family constellations, rapid core healing, and they are in the program to create permanent change to the mind, body, and the soul. So again, a holistic approach. In Pillar 1, participants look at their humanness and what it is that they need and want to surrender in order to return to their soul. Looks at what keeps them from their soul, what they need changing, and what they need to actually let go of. Then in Pillar 2, evolving, we guide you, the participants, to look at areas for expansion and greater clarity, strength, and purpose. We look at your ancestral line and generational trauma to see how your lineage impacts your present day. We look at what helps you grow, what helps you to shift the energy from surrendering, what reframes your human operating system, what reframes your human operating system to your soul operating system, and we begin the process of weaving a new fabric of your life. In the 3rd pillar of loving, we look at how we love self more and all the different aspects of self-love. Self-love is a term that not everybody understands, and it has many, many, many layers to it. And so in the loving pillar, we look at all of that in quite a lot of detail. So we look at what it means, how it's relevant, and how important it is for our soul. And we look at what we need in order to be able to love ourselves. Loving is really a critical part of the journey, especially following on from surrendering and evolving. And then the 4th pillar is feeling. And in feeling, we take quite a detailed look at energetics in a variety of different ways. And in particular, how you feel and express your soul through energetics. We look at frequency and vibration in the internal world and the external world, intuition and how to access it, and the feeling body and emotional mastery. Understanding energy and how to work with it in your daily life is the final key to the journey. The other thing that makes the program different is that both of the facilitators, so both Ross and I, we've done our own journey home to soul, and we know firsthand what the journey entails. So we know the challenges, we know the benefits, we know the obvious and the unobvious, and how to work through each step of the journey. So while the journey is the individual participant's journey to take, we certainly know from our own different journeys home to our souls what's entailed, and that's what the program's been created around, built around. And we also use our wisdom and experience to the program to support and guide you to finding your own answers. So it's not a program that's going to tell you the answers, it's a program that's going to support and guide you to actually find the answers yourself. So yeah, that's a little bit about what makes Journey Home to Soul different. Because of the depth of the program and the content. I mean, journeying home to soul is not an easy, quick, swift, or superficial journey. It is actually quite a deep journey, and you won't be the same person walking out of the journey as you are when you walk into the journey. So it is a little bit difficult to explain. So hopefully this short video explains a little bit more about what makes it different.